Hello everyone. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي واشدد به أزري واشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Welcome everyone. Inshallah, we will continue with the rays. And we're studying the part of being grateful to our Lord, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, which is the second chapter of the 29th flash on page 653 of the book. And I guess last week, since I was not available, but we did, you guys probably who were available must have studied the 6th point, which is a short point. So we can just read over and just see if there's anything we can discuss on it. And then we'll move on to the 7th point. That's my idea. And from what I recall, this particular section of the rays is more to do with what the aspect of belief brings into the human life. Belief as a result of looking at the things, observing them in light of that they are not happening by themselves, but they are purposefully given existence by the one who made me, who has given me all those qualities, the tools, and the one who is displaying his art, his qualities in this universe. And of course, I have to respond back to whatever is being given to me in terms of saying thanks to all the bounties that I am benefiting from in this world. So, I mean, we've been going through different points on how belief brings familiarity with the creation around us. The view changes from being frightened and scared that we're going to go to a dead end versus, we are under a protector, under the protection of the Lord of the universe. And let's just read the 6th point again. So the light of belief depicts this world and the hereafter as two tables, displaying numerous varieties of bounties. Light of belief depicts this world and the hereafter as two tables. One table for this world, one table for the hereafter, displaying numerous varieties of bounties from which a believer benefits through the hand of belief. So the hand of belief, which is his inner and external senses, and his subtle spiritual faculties. It's a good definition of what belief entails. It's how the human being's way he finds himself with his feelings, his inner and external senses, and his subtle and spiritual faculties, besides the material and the tools that we have, the bodily material side, there's also the spiritual faculties that we need to pay attention to. So both external and inner senses and faculties. And by using those, that's how belief, which is an abstract concept in terms of how you cannot say, hey, this is belief, that is, you cannot point to it, but it's the state of the individual when they are in tune with all their senses and spiritual faculties working together to get to the meaning and getting to the reality, seeing the reality of what this existence means and relating it back to the owner of this universe. So in the view of misguidance, the sphere from which a living being may benefit, diminishes and is restricted to material pleasures. While in the view of belief, it expands to a sphere, the pleasure, right? As material pleasure, the sphere of which a living being may benefit diminishes as restricted to material pleasures, while in the view of belief, it expands to a sphere which embraces the heavens and the earth. So that there's a different kind of living being, and the pleasure changes from a strictly material pleasure to one that uses the senses, spiritual faculties, that goes to a sphere which embraces the heavens and the earth. Yes, a believer considers the sun to be a lamp hanging in the roof of his house. So it's a personal relationship hanging in the roof of his house. I think that's, and the moon to be a night light. They thus become bounties for him, and the sphere from which he benefits is broader than the heavens. They thus become bounties for him. Yeah, they're not taken for granted, but there's a relationship that is established through the sun and the moon as the example being used. And we can use this for each and every creation beings or that we are interacting with. That because we are always benefiting with many things in this, the way we are living here in this world. And the sphere from which he benefits is broader than the heavens. So it does not reduce to the material being only. So it goes, and there's the meaningful aspect that we realize and benefit from. And I think this is because as the sixth point, he's mentioned that how belief really in your feelings and your senses, your state of being, one becomes acquainted with their Lord, and it changes their perception of how they view the world. Nothing's, instead of the fright, they are more in a comfort way of feeling. So they thus become bounties for him, and the sphere from which he benefits is broader than the heavens. With the eloquent verses, and he has made subject to you the sun and the moon. And he has made subject to you the sun and the moon, and he it is who enables you to travel the land and the sea. From sections of the Quran 14:33 and section 10, verse 22. The Quran of miraculous exposition alludes to these wonderful bounties and blessings which arise from belief. So each and everything becomes a bounty and blessings when it comes to belief versus just the restriction to the materiality of the thing. And that all happens because of, by human beings using their inner external senses, the subtle spiritual faculties, which are the means through which one can, what makes a person a human being, and that is by using them. That's how belief connects them to the out of that materiality world. So it takes them and out of this materials, one like at the moment pleasure, to a more enduring and, as a gift that one wants to cherish forever and ever. So this was, I'm sure you guys studied this, whoever was here last time. But if there's any other comment Anybody would like to share on this point, 6th point? Please go ahead. Otherwise, I will start the 7th point. All right. Yeah.
I am sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I missed for some reason. Anyways, I don't know whether you discussed about all these things are mentioned here, or it's possible only through the light of belief. Have you touched upon this point? Light of belief.
We touched upon it a little bit, but if you would like to add we would love to hear your point also.
Although through the hand of belief. I mean, as if the author is talking about through the hand of belief, his inner and external senses, his subtle spiritual faculties. So what happens now? This world and the hereafter, two displays as two tables displaying numerous varieties of bounties from which a believer benefits. I mean, if somebody is not a believer, cannot benefit. So from there, at first glance, it seems to be the author is using, we have to believe first and then look at the universe, look at everything accordingly, our belief. But the problem is, where shall I get this? Or where should I have gotten the belief? Where, from where? But it works from both sides. First, it starts looking at the universe, investigating it, and then if somebody comes to the conclusion that there is a source of existence of this world, and also the hereafter must be, if he is convinced, for this person, then comes back and establishes a relationship between the world and himself. Then he can get all the benefits now. First, using it as a source of evidence. What is going on? What is this world all about, etc. Not really internalizing it, not really benefiting from it, but using it, coming to a conclusion that this universe cannot exist by itself. So it must have a source for its existence. And as he gets to know the source and his qualities, he starts interacting with the universe under the light of, or through the hand of belief. Then he really benefits from it, from through the belief, benefits from what is created out there. Everything becomes meaningful for him. Now, a believer, if you come 3 lines below, a believer considers the sun to be the lamp hanging in the roof of his house. Look at this. The person who have concluded that the universe has a conscious creator, then he can feel at home in this world now. Otherwise, the house will be a place of execution. This universe is a place of execution, because in it, his life will be executed. And he will be deprived of everything. Just the contrary is black and white. So moon and sun are serving him. They become bounties for him. If he didn't believe or didn't conclude that this universe has a conscious creator, deliberately creating with full of wisdom, introducing himself through the universe, if this person wasn't here, or if this belief wasn't there, the sun and the moon and everything in the universe will be just accidentally happen to be lovely things. I am benefiting from them, but I'm going to be executed in this house. Like my typical example, somebody invites you and looks after you, really entertains you for a month. At the end of the month, you know that he's going to kill you. How much do you enjoy it? How much do you enjoy it? Your being a guest there for a month, everything really provided as you loved. How much do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy it, or do you say, oh, this man is also heinous, tries to be nice, but at the end he will kill me. Sure, he will kill me, because no one escapes death in this world. With this psychology, every pleasure you get becomes an hypocrisy of the host. Oh, he's just cheating me. He's just cheating me. Do you enjoy this life? As a human being, that is why materialist people, although they seem to be happy, but from within, life is beautiful. Let's make most of it, enjoy it, because at the end, we are going to be executed. Before we are executed, let's benefit. What will remain to you with your brain and memory? They will be a good compost for the insects. How much do they enjoy? All the laughings, all hypocrites, trying to show themselves happy person. All lies. I can't believe that a person who doesn't believe in the creator and conscious, purposeful creation, then he is really enjoying the life, although they may laugh and laughter and try to dance. And what does it mean? I don't understand the meaning of dance anywhere, just moving up and down like a crazy person. But we all know that their most enjoyable moments are celebrated in a party where they get drunk. Do you see the contradiction? It is amazing to notice this, and we shouldn't be cheated by saying that, or deceived by looking at them. This early dunya, those people who don't believe in God and don't have any religious considerations and restrictions, responsibilities, they are happy, don't you see? I doubt it, and I don't believe. Thank you.
Thank you. So, where is this light of belief coming from, as you were saying? So we have to be a little investigative in our how we're interacting with the universe. And as you said, I'm trying to make the case. That's where the hand of belief comes in. When I'm wondering, or where are these qualities coming from? And I have that comfort and feeling, that's where everything in the universe, the light of belief, would make the sun to be so comfortable that it's like a personal relationship with me in my house. And the moon also is a very personal, comfortable relationship. Otherwise, it's without that, prerequisite of using that human inquisitive behavior, or inquiring where the things are coming from, is just take advantage and forget about it and use it while it lasts. That kind of attitude and temporary material, like pleasure of just material, seeing everything as a material being. Any comments by anyone? Did that make sense? Or okay. All right, let's move on then to the 7th point. It is known through belief that God's existence is a bounty surpassing all other bounties. God's existence is a bounty surpassing all other bounties. A great bounty, which is a source, a fountain, containing endless varieties of bounties. Innumerable source of blessings and uncountable kinds of gifts. It is known through belief that God's existence is a bounty. So it's known through belief. We appreciate the existence of God, that surpassing all other bounties. God exists and everything exists. A great bounty, which is a source, a fountain containing endless varieties of bounties, innumerable source of blessings and uncountable kinds of gifts. It is consequently incumbent on man and a debt to offer praise and laudation for the bounties of belief to the number of particles in the world. Offer praise and laudation for the bounties of belief to the number of particles in the world. A number of these have been shown in various parts of the Risale-i-Nur. Discussing belief in God, they raise the veil from these bounties and point them out. So the bounties raise the veil. Also, discussing belief in God, they raise the veil from these bounties. So the veil has to be raised from the bounties, and then we get to the understanding that these are all coming from the source of the universe, the one who made me, who made the universe. One of the bounties for which praise should be offered with all the praise, that the phrase all praise be to God indicates with the lam of specification. The li, lam of specification is the li that belongs to God, be to God. I think that's it. All praise be to God. It's the bounty of divine mercy. Indeed, mercy comprises bounties to the number of living beings which manifest divine mercy. For man in particular is connected with all living creatures, and in this respect is gladdened by their happiness and saddened by their pain. Man in particular is connected with all living creatures, and in this respect is gladdened by their happiness and saddened by their pain. Thus, a bounty found in a single individual is a bounty also for his fellows. I'm just trying to see the connection between Yeah, one of the bounties for which praise should be offered with all the praise that the phrase all praise be to God indicates. Okay, so it's indicated by that there is a source to God. That specifies the source of the bounty, is the bounty of divine bounty. Indeed, mercy comprises bounties to the number of living beings which manifest. Each living beings manifest that divine mercy. So it's interesting. It is known through belief one can understand that the bounties that they're benefiting from, that God's existence is a bounty, that the existence of God is a bounty. Everything we're benefiting from is because of the existence of God, which surpasses every other thing that we benefit from. It is consequently so incumbent on man and a debt to offer praise and laudation for the bounties of belief to the number of particles in the world. Any comment on these two paragraphs by anyone? Anything that they feel we can emphasize on? Yes, Brother Ali, go ahead.
Yeah. Can I make a very simple example, but explains a lot to me? So an example. Now, if your aim is to go to, let's say, somewhere away, far away, let's say California, all right? Okay, Los Angeles or San Diego, all right. That's your aim to go there. Somebody gives you a very nice car, excellent. But you keep talking about the qualities of your car and you're proud of it. But this car says I can run only 100 miles. And then I break down. But while you are driving me 100 miles, you really enjoy all comfort I give you. And the person says, okay, this is the car, I have to get it. But your aim is, in your feelings, you need to go to San Diego. But you say that the car is so charming. Oh, everything is, let's say, unimaginably attractive. And everything is new and working perfect. Yeah, it's a magical way, as if. You get on a car and talk about the car, lose yourself in the beauty of the car and forget about your destination. But you know that you have to go to San Diego. And 100 miles away, let's say from New York, where is it? Not the other end of New Jersey. I'm so close, but let's say other end of New Jersey, just to the boundary of Pennsylvania, 100. And then car, you know that car is going to break. You found yourself in an unknown place. Car is broke. You cannot go back. You cannot go further. What happens? You get lost. How much, as a person driving this car, knowing that his destination San Diego and he knows what to do there, but now he ended up in the middle of nowhere. And he knows in the middle of nowhere, somewhere, some miles away, the car will break, sure. Everybody knows that he's going to die. But the car is beautiful. The life is beautiful. People keep saying that enjoy your life daily. Never miss any opportunity. Make most of your life. Make every day a pleasant for you. Exactly like this. But human side says at the end, I will end up with unknown place, death. How much you can enjoy it? How much one can enjoy the car? If someone forgets about tries to forget about his final destination, where he wants to go, wishes to be there, and his purpose is to be there to get the satisfaction of this journey, this travel, but knows that this car is not going to take there. He may say, okay, but the car is beautiful, man. To drive is so pleasant, etc., etc. Do you think this person have a real enjoyment of the car? Or he knows that the car is going to take him to an unknown place in the middle of nowhere, and he will have a horrible being there as a human being. And do you think this person, although apparently enjoys the car, but inner world is suffering from the beauty, excitement of the beauty of the car, because this car is going to take him in at least this place was nice. He knows where he is now, but this car, the life, is going to take him to an unknown place as far as the bodily life is concerned, but he takes notes of only bodily life, denies his destiny. It means his spirit. The car becomes a source of pain, not source of pleasure. Also, apparently, he pretends to be enjoying it. That is what I really wonder to understand. I really want to understand by myself. Don't look at these people who seems to be solving the problem of everything, writing down the equation of the reality of the world, or that, but they know that one day they will retire and die. It is impossible if you don't know where you are going as a human being. It's impossible to enjoy it. That is why we read here that the true belief that God exists, it means if you study the car, the maker of this car, although this car is designed for 40 years or 100 miles drive, example, but it is made so wonderful. That's who made this car so wonderful. So he could have made it for an endless journey, drive, but this car is given to him in order to get to know and ask from the manufacturer of this car, give me a car. You can do it. Look at this car, how wonderful it is. If you can do it, you can do it in another car, which is lasting much longer, maybe with no end. Get to know him. This car is given to you as a means of knowing the quality of the manufacturer of the car, engineer of the car, not to end to come to reach your destination. This is just a tool. It's a means, opportunity for you to understand the capacity of the maker of this car. That's why it's so wonderful. It is introducing the manufacturer to himself. The manufacturer is expecting that, look, You gave me this car. I understand that you can give me another car which takes me to my destination. So powerful mechanism or anything, all the qualities of the car. You can do it. You can do it. I'm sure the other one as well. It means which takes me to my destination. And then it is an invitation. This car is an invitation to get in touch with the manufacturer of the car so that you can ask him, give me another car. You can do it. I know it. You have given me freely this car freely. So you can give me another car which takes me to my destination. That is the beauty of the secrets or mystery of the beauty of this world, charming of this world, invites me to investigate who is its owner, creator, maker, engineer, if you like. Who is doing all this? It is an means of introducing himself to you, an invitation for you to come and investigate and find me out and come to me. I will give you the big car. Don't lose yourself in this. Not the big car, I'm sorry. The perfect car which takes you to your destination. This is just an introduction to you, introducing myself to you. It is an invitation. Thank you.
I love invitations. So everything becomes an invitation. Yeah, Brother Lee, your hand is still up. Okay. Yeah, if we live like this, seeing everything as an invitation, mashallah, by the one who is inviting us to get to know him. That's a whole different experience, all of it by itself. So keep that in mind. I should do that. This is an invitation. This is an invitation. MashaAllah. All right. All right, let's move on to another, which comprises bounties to the number of children which are blessed with their mother's tenderness and which deserves praise and laudation, is divine compassion. So all around the universe, whatever we are seeing around us is as an invitation, and it's also showing the qualities of compassion. Yes, a person with conscience who feels a sorrow and pity at the weeping of a motherless, hungry child, surely feels pleasure at a mother's compassion for her child. Surely he is pleased and happy. Thus, pleasures of this sort are each a bounty and require praise and thanks. So all the pleasures that we encounter are each a bounty and requires praise and thanks. We have to see them as opportunities and invitations to get to know who the source of those bounties and compassion, and thus reply back with praise and thanks. Another of the bounties requiring praise and thanks to the number of all the varieties and instances of wisdom contained in the universe is divine wisdom. For just as man's self is endowed with the manifestation of divine mercy, and his heart with the manifestation of divine compassion, so too does his intellect take pleasure at the subtleties of divine wisdom. So in this respect, they require endless praise and laudation through the declaring of all praise be to God. So all the manifestations human being finds himself with is a manifestation of divine wisdom and compassion. Farah, your hand is up. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. My point is a comment about just what we concluded in the previous paragraph. It's something that I've been reflecting on a little bit recently. The idea that what makes belief or what demonstrates the bounty, I guess, of belief is what I also see evident when you bring all your needs or as many needs that you experience in whether it's in the form of questions or thoughts or resolutions or feelings or whatever it is, the more you bring your needs to this framework, the more bounty you see or experience as a result of it. And the one analogy that comes to mind is a tree that's sort of like laden with fruit. The more you shake it, the more fruit will fall. And I think I see this like, you know, the beauty, I guess, of this belief framework is the fact that the more challenge or question or concern or contradiction or whatever that disturbs you or you find yourself in need of, that you bring to this through this framework, the more bounty you seem to experience as a result of it. From my own personal reflection. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Farah. So the more one realizes their reality of their neediness and their dependence on an absolute source, the better they will connect and understand that, yes, there is someone who is taking care of them. The more it will reinvigorate my connection, like my understanding and connection based on how I understand my input.
I feel sorry to cut you off, but I think at some point it's even almost you experience not just that my need is corresponding to something that satisfies it, but the excess of it also, or the you know, there's an increased nature that you can experience that, you know, you're like, for example, in the analogy that Dr. Ali was sharing, a car that could go infinite sort of or eternal miles, right? I mean, yes, it matches your desire, but perhaps something that is not within these worldly conditions able to be cultivated or possible physically, but matches your desire. So the I guess the beauty of belief is the fact that it the more you engage through your needs, the you know, the more it demonstrates its, I guess, excess and maybe even in the form of energized or more energy, I guess. So there's an element of excess and exponentialness that one can experience in this framework, whereas in the alternative that we talk about that is limited by its material form can never demonstrate an excess or exponential nature.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Any other comment by anyone? So when they say be grateful, gratefulness increases your being in terms of your, this is how the psychology books also says, you know, always be as much grateful you are, the better your condition would become. But
which could also be understood as expressing your need to be grateful, and hence, you know, to your statement, the more grateful you are, the more it's reciprocated, or you want to be more grateful as a result of being more.
All right. Thank you. Should we continue? Another is the bounty of preservation, for which praise should be offered to the number of manifestations of the divine name of inheritor. Another is the bounty of preservation. So the above one was wisdom, there was compassion, now wisdom and preservation, for which praise should be offered to the number of manifestations of the divine name of inheritor, and the number of descendants who endure after the passing of their forebears, and the number of the beings of the next world, and the number of men's actions which are preserved so as to be the means of their receiving their rewards in the hereafter. Trying to see the bounty of preservation and the divine name of inheritor. Divine name of inheritor. I mean, is that tied to preservation? Because lam yalid valam yulad is like no inheritance or no like giving out or leaving something to something, or not neither inheriting it from someone. So what is this? Does anybody can comment on what this divine name of inheritor entails? Something I'm thinking is new to me right now. But definitely it looks like the author is tying it to the bounty of preservation. And it's one of the manifestations of the divine name of inheritor. I guess in terms of all the qualities that is, maybe I'm confusing this. And the number of descendants who endure after the passing of their forebears, and the number of descendants who endure after the passing of their forebears. So that's something that I experience in this world, where I can experience the laws of inheritance or forbearance happening. So in the human hierarchy, that happens, or in the plants, animals, there is that inheritance and forbearance that goes through. So I guess that's all those qualities point to the divine name of inheritor, I'm thinking. Yeah, Farah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think some of the comments are indicating this. I'm understanding this as because nothing necessitates that a certain quality between progeny or different generations, or nothing necessitates that there is that those will be transferred as they are from one to the other, given that they are each independently new creations brought into existence, independent of any cause that exists within, would say that something needs to, quote unquote, preserve those qualities because of which they are manifested in this apparently continuous fashion. So the divine name of inheritor, which probably means varis in this case, is the attribute pertaining to that which is making allowing things to be preserved between progeny or between species or between generations.
Yeah, thank you. That helps, and the comments help, meaning progeny, that things are preserved and continued forward. And Brother Ali posted a verse, وَمَا لَكُمْ nafiqu fi sabilillahi wa lillahi mirasu samawati wal ard. I don't know. Brother Ali, would you like to take over what you have? And okay, yeah, the translation. And
Yeah.
why? Okay, go ahead, please.
No. Read the translation.
Okay, let me read it. And why should you not spend freely in the cause of God, seeing that God alone is the heritage of the heavens and the earth? Okay, that makes sense. The heritage of the heavens and the earth. It belongs to God.
The name is inheritor.
Mhm.
Because the heritage of the heavens and earth, God's, it means God is the inheritor of the heavens and the earth. Here it is, Suhail put it. Yes, and you can share maybe this one. Doesn't come out. Other. Inna lanahnu nuhyi wa numit wa nahnu warithun. Yeah, on the same line. So what the Quran uses that God is the inheritor of the universe. When you say you don't, I mean, it's rightly. I'm not blaming at all. It's rightly. You are saying that you didn't understand the context. Yeah, I mean, because inheritor, what does it mean, inheritor? Now, everything at the end, for example, what I am collecting now, is going to be inherited by my son. Now, this example. So what is created here, what we are doing, everything are going to be inherited by God, by the Creator, because no one really keeps his property in this world. Nothing can sustain, preserve, keep its existence, its qualities. They continually change, especially it is more obvious in the life of animal beings, plants, animals. They die and everything they had, they owned, seemingly owned in this world, is left behind. And they were alone. And the human beings also experiences it. Or everybody experiences it, that whatever I had in this world, I'm going to leave it behind. And God says, I have given them to you. The Creator has given all this to you, and what you will disappear from this world, and only I will be existent, or I will be the real owner of this world. You will see it, because I won't disappear. You will disappear. I brought you here. I gave you the end to your existence, to your life here. You cannot come to this world yourself. You cannot go out of this world. So everything is in my hand. It means whoever created the world, he is the only owner. We are just temporarily user of it on a temporary base. That's it. The owner of everything will remain forever, must remain forever, because the owner of the everything must be an absolute being. So inheritor, manifestations of the name of the inheritor, and all of them demonstrates that all the preservations are for God, not for us. It means for the Creator. He is creating, and this, what is preserved in this world belongs to Him, not to me. Although seemingly temporarily, it seems to be it belongs to me. Temporarily.
I see, alhamdulillah. So whatever in this world inherit or bequeath to someone, it's not mine, it belongs to the owner of the universe. So Suhail had his hand up. Suhail, would you like to say something?
Assalamu alaikum. No, I guess not much to add, but what I found interesting was also, it's obvious, it's interesting that materially speaking, people don't maintain anything when they die. It's even actually when you're living, nothing's guaranteed that you'll have it tomorrow, and definitely after death. That things are preserved after you die, meaning they don't belong to you; they belong to someone else or to another being. In other words, the inheritor and maintainer and sustainer of those things is not you, but their true owner. But another thing that I found interesting was when he says men's actions, in that men's actions are not necessarily, material things. So even immaterial things are preserved. Like, for example, like we're reading this author's book, Nursi's book. I guess maybe say a book is material, but his ideas are sort of, their ideas are not material things. They're immaterial, or really, let's say, the thing he's speaking about or talking about is the Quran, which is a book. The paper and ink is a material thing, but what the Quran says is like is a view of the world. It's a perspective. In other words, even the things that are not tangible are preserved. And that's interesting too, because, who or what is preserving the intangible aspect of the world, like the meaningful aspect of the world. Men's actions, for example, knowledge is preserved across generations, and ideas and thoughts. That's why we're reading this author, or that's why we read the Quran, because it's a preservation of something. And or even just ideas. So it's, you can't, like, it's even somebody I know, Alimar brought up these scientists who come up with equations to describe the world. It's interesting because even they are sort of inheriting their forebears' ideas or thoughts or understanding of the world, and like never think about like how is something like so immaterial being preserved across time. Like, it doesn't, that person's dead and gone, that they may have, the idea that they're studying or praising or thinking about or building upon, but that person doesn't live anymore. They're just dust in the ground. So how is the idea being preserved? Did the idea belong to them? Is the idea belonging to the world? Like, where's this idea? Where are these thoughts, or where's this knowledge coming from? So, it doesn't, that view of the world doesn't add up, because something so intangible also needs something to preserve it, and material things can't preserve intangible things. It's impossible. In other words, you can't, to be a materialist doesn't make any sense.
Thank you. That was a good point. So our thoughts and feelings and actions, which are not really tangible, which are preserved. So they are also taken into account, they're considered. And they have consequences in terms of receiving the rewards in the hereafter. Very good understanding of how inheritance, divine inheritor of artists is working. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for that. Let me just, Brother Ali, go ahead.
I know the time is up. Maybe next week we can discuss about this. In the previous paragraph, there was an interesting point. It just really go up a little bit here is, okay, now it says there is a good distribution and also mutual correspondence between now number of the writers, instances of wisdom. Now, wisdom contained in the universe is divine freedom. For many self, it means many himself is being a human being here, as connected to the world, but usually enjoys divine mercy. And many's heart enjoys manifestation of compassion. It means the many self, Rahman, mercy. Many's heart, Rahim, and many's intellect, his intellect take pleasure at the subtleties of divine wisdom. So intellect is corresponding with wisdom, heart corresponding with them is Hakim, hikmat, and man's heart corresponds with Rahim, man's body, physical need, Rahman. So this correlation is a very rough picture of reality actually, but these are the fundamental things that take our attention at first glance. So we have to see how the relationship between human beings all together, body, heart, intellect, all the feelings, and the manifestations in the universe, how they communicate with each other. Maybe we can go over this mutual correspondence, human beings and the universe, next week, because time is already up. What do you think?
I like the idea, inshallah. We can do that.
Yeah, we can start from inland advantage, requiring praise and thanks. This paragraph, inshallah. Yeah, we can mark there. I will put a mark there that we start from here. Inshallah. Next week.
Inshallah. Okay, we'll do that, inshallah. Okay, thank you. So I think we can stop here then. Any other final comments by anyone? And I think the latter part of the second paragraph, I think there's also another point we can pick up, I think next week, inshallah. All right, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Bi hurmati suratil Fatiha.